Welcome to this open final of Windmill 2016 between the French National Open team and Bad Skid from Germany. We have in fact seen this team in this final a couple of years ago against Radioshina, the American team, and they lost in sudden death there. And on the way here, they've taken some scalps, pushed their way through here yesterday, beating Heidi's. Yesterday, sorry, the French beat the Irish, who had actually already beaten GB, and France both these teams have actually lost to GB in coming up to this final, but GB unable to get out of quarters. It's going to be a very fiery game. Both these teams love to take on physical games. Bad Skid, a team of German young all-stars, mostly from, I believe, from the area around Heilbronn, but they've all moved. I've heard that they've all kind of moved out, and they're from all over the place now. But you'll see some key players, the likes of Holger Butemüller, who we know from many a game at EUC and even WCC when we saw them play Rolampicos. On the French national team, we've seen a few of the returning players, Fasoil Umbai, and I think Nasser's here as well, coming back from their duties with Denmark and the French Masters team. The French Masters team. Swiss Masters team, my apologies. Here with David Price and Tom Stiles, and the first pull is up. A huge pull straight out of the park on top of the stadium. It's now ricketing down into the gutters. And it's landed in. No, that's of course out. As some of you may know, I play for Fire of London, and there are currently two Fire of London previous players on the pitch in the French national team. Jean-Sébastien he's marking on the near side here. And Edwin Grapan also marking upfield. So, Bad Skid start with the disc, half cart. Move the disc down the sideline. Look to reset. Goes high and back. Just about gets it. Wants to break around. Fouled but continues. Right on the doorstep now. Massive fake. Lefty. Ooh, and a lot of pressure. But Bad Skid punch it in. 1-0 to the Germans.
Yeah, Nico Muller with the receiving that first point. Thank you, David, for kicking us off here. Welcome to the coverage from Sky in Amsterdam. We've seen two really good games so far this morning, particularly that mixed final. But all eyes are on the open division now. A team from France and a team from Germany. Interestingly, Germany, one of the only countries not to send their national sides to the Windmill as a warm-up tournament. Almost all the other open squads from Europe sending their national side to this tournament. The French no different. Great Britain were here, Ireland were here, Italy were here. There's even teams from Norway. In the women's division, I think there was 9 teams in the 16-team women division who are national sides, including a couple of women's masters sides. So here we go. See if we do have the French roster with us, and also the German roster with the French starting at the back of their end zone. Pressure straight away from the team in black, and see how they advance this disc up through the German defense, rolling around on the AstroTurf, but getting himself up. quite high stall count now. There's a pick downfield. So the French roster, they've reversed the first name and last name column. Let's hope we can remember that that's the case all the way through this one. Big disc from the French, looking for Mbaye, and he manages to take that. What a vision he has. And a gentle disc into the end zone. Nasser Mbaye, beautifully read all the way down there. Never took his eyes off the disc. Always knew he was going to get up early, get a bit on that disc. Fantastic vision from the French receiver.
Mbaye, huge in the air. He's come back from his time playing for the Swiss Masters, like I was trying to get to before we started, with his brother. They are of French origin. And in fact, he's played for double wide in his past. Going over there to play a couple of nationals, huge in the European ultimate scene. Still bringing that disc down from the heavens. And that's what we're going to have to expect from the French. Big discs to the likes of Mbaye and his brother, of course, Fasoil.
We have seen the Bad Skid team on the Sky stream this weekend already. David, have you seen the French team so far in the tournament?
No, I haven't. However, I did watch a bit of them play at EUC last year. I think it was in their semi-final against GB, something like that. I remember it being very wet. They're very dynamic. They like playing through their handlers, and they've got players from all over the country, from Chak, from Frizzolies, and a few other teams. And then Bad Skid are putting it up now to deep, under a lot of pressure, a lot of arms. But the Bad Skid player, of course, is calling foul.
That was a proper rugby tackle. He had his hand across his chest. There was no love lost between these two. It's Michael Boutemoller, one of the 3 Boutemoller players on this team, who is getting the close attentions of Franco Zabir. Also, it's a number 12 shirt. It's not. It's Pierre. Lemerle. I'm struggling to understand, and so are the crowd, to understand why that needs to be rerun. It was the hands. The hands from the number 12 shirt, Lemerle, Pierre Lemerle, were all over Michael Boutemoller. But so Holger Boutemoller in the 19 shirt. See a lot of Holger this game. An absolute tank of a man. And Hartmann to Nico Muller, who has a couple of grabs at that, manages to get it. Back to Holger. Holger to Muller. Back to Holger. Hartmann cuts underneath again. Muller goes down the line. Great disc from Holger, manages to spray it. Wow, just has to go down and tries to get his hand underneath that. It's 88 and a foul on the throw. And I hope this doesn't descend into a tit-for-tat call fest. Matthias Wieberus was the player, had a double bid at that with the 88 shirt on his back. Both sides are already getting a little bit tetchy and quite physical. Certainly in the end zone. And the French able to live with this German team. Bad Skid, a relatively new team in terms of heritage. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Nico Muller trying to find his brother, trying to find Holger Boutemoller. And the two of them, you'll see an awful lot of handling. But Holger is also an extremely dangerous deep player, so they tend to mark him as well as they possibly can. Little floaty disc, trying to get it in. And eventually they do. The German Bad Skid team just eking it out. Few tetchy calls so far though, David.
Yeah, that first one was pretty bad, I think. Almost professional foul level, holding down his player. But hopefully they'll cut that out and calm down a little bit, because they are definitely a much better D team than they're showing. They can really lock down on their players. I played against a few French teams in my past few seasons, and they're very hard to break down sometimes. Bad Skid actually have been around a couple of years now, with many successful ventures into the European Championships. And didn't have a great time at Worlds. Lost out on the top 8 due to a very tough pool and losing in sudden death, which you can also check out on the Sky magazine playlist for WCC Lecco. But hopefully the teams will take a new point and get rid of this sort of tetchy nerves that they started with. Game on.
Someone's managed to hijack the shopping till at the shop where they're working in order to watch the Skyed stream. So at fully_grown on Twitter. Thank you very much for doing that. Hashtag Windmill 2016. You've got to get in touch with myself or David. We're watching that. And you can also tweet us directly at Tom Styles is me, and at David_Price if you want to get in touch with David as well. Straight away, the French moving it to Faz, the other Mbaye brother. Back to the 17 shirt for French. Rises high, takes one-handed. But great skill there from the 77, Eric Becker. And into the hands of the 16. Oh. And the French have provided their roster for us, which we very much appreciate. Is missing a number 16 though, so chap will remain anonymous unless, of course, Twitter can give us the name of number 16. Faz Mbaye chasing this one down. He's going to go to the back of the end zone. He's going to have to lay out, and he does so, staying in and taking the rapturous applause of the crowd and his teammates as they chase him down there. Great work from Mbaye. He knew he had the legs, and he took it to the ground.
Yeah, well run down by Mbaye. Early on, we've just seen the two brothers now playing for their home nation. And doing a great job of it so far. I'm being told on Twitter that our timer is on 0-0, so we may want to fix that. Hopefully that's been fixed, or will be fixed soon. 2-2 here in the open final. Previous games between the German and Swiss national women's team. Germany coming out on top there in a rather one-sided affair if you go by the scoreline, but actually the play was a lot closer. And in the mixed division, we just saw GB taking on a sock game and coming out victorious in a much tighter contested game. Thoroughly enjoyable. Here we have France versus Bad Skid.
Yeah, that German women's team is a force to be reckoned with going into Worlds. They looked extremely good. And comprehensive demolition of the Swiss team. Zone come out, zone look for the French here, allowing the Bad Skid team to swing it around at the back. No real direct pressure. This is sort of Japanese style defense we've seen in the past. This is not really approaching the disc, not even at the sideline. It's allowing them to move it around. They've got 4 handlers here. And Bad Skid further up field are getting man marked by the French, but now they're doing a transition to a one-on-one defense, and a much closer mark has arrived. And I think Bad Skid immediately will feel more comfortable with that. Holger Butemuller finding Volmer. Volmer down the line. Volk looking to reset to Holger Butemuller. Disc into the end zone. It's Hartmann that comes up with it. Goes to ground, and the French giving a lot of close attention there, but manages to find Nico Muller. Nico Muller underneath, safely into the hands of another bad skid player.
I think it's Marco Butamulu who scored that. But you can see the French really getting close on the force. Almost fouling, I'd say, and that might start to get called more as we go through the game. But they did start there with more of a person upfield mark and sort of arrowhead cup nearer the disc, allowing the handlers to swing. But because this upfield is person defense, there's no upfield options, so they just have to keep swinging it back and forth. And actually, as soon as they transitioned, you could immediately see Bad Skid took advantage. And I don't know what happened there on the pitch, but anyway. And immediately took advantage and just got it down the break side very quickly.
There's a very large French contingent in the crowd up to the left, and they are going to be cheering every point and every action of this French team. I don't know if there is an obvious underdog between these two sides. They're very evenly matched as that disc drifts into the crowd, much to the delight of the fans here in Amsterdam.
So that pull came from Kobler, a very experienced bad skid player who's actually been playing in the US this past season, I believe, for Ironside and at college. He played at college nationals like only last weekend. But anyway, back in with the French.
French 24, Roger, and twisting and pivoting around. Oh, there's a little bit Samuel Butamula, just letting the two of them have a conversation. That's Moria, Renault. Hard chasing from the bad skid players. And a pick further up the field. Brings play to a stop. Socrate down the field. It's the number 9 shirt of Lorino. And he finds 99 in the corner. Bonar. Into the end zone. Big bid from the Germans, but it comes to nothing, and the French celebrate, waving the disc in the air. And there's a number 16 shirt involved in that who isn't on our roster. So if you do know who number 16 for France is, drop us a tweet, please, straight away. Hashtag Windmill 2016, because we'd love to be able to cover him. Judith is watching and in French. And Steve Beardsley watching on Twitter, as is Chevron Ultimate. Sarah Harrison, I think, is in the crowd rather than watching. Well, who else we got? Hannes Fritz is watching. And Diana Ching. Dave Barnard's watching. NTU Ultimate. Congratulations to GB Mixed on their victory. Sam Bowen still watching, and Nick Sampson, who is certainly watching the Great Britain Mixed game. If you are watching our coverage live, do send us a tweet. Obviously, you're watching in replay, then just take that share button in the top corner of the player, click it, take the link, ping it all over your social media stream, wherever that is. Put it onto your team list and share the news about Live Ultimate as it's happening, as it's replaying. The disc again drifting out. This strong wind coming from the camera tower towards the stands. And you're listening to Tom Styles, myself, and David Price with me in the commentary box for this open final here from the Sunshine AstroTurf of Amsterdam for the Windmill tournament. Sky's coverage with you all afternoon. Volk back to Muller. A little bit closer mark from the French this time. But we're still seeing a poach in there. And this time the poach man is exposed. Viborus back across. So we've got, 4 handlers and a 3 cup with a French 20 running across the back to pick up the spare. Have they transitioned now, or is it it's just the number 20 back here is picking off his runs and trying to work out where to fit in. Holger Buttermuller with the disc now. Big deep shot. He's going to be chased down. His brother's underneath it. What a brilliant run down from Michael Buttermuller. Just did enough boxing out there to stop the advances of Pierre Lemerle from getting that disc.
Yeah, we saw a very interesting set there from Bad Skid. They had 4 handlers and 3 upfield cutters. I think that's an attempt to create more space and width across the pitch to stop the French using their poachy sets and their zones and open up the deep space, which is exactly what happened there. And a very nice box by Butenmuller. 4-3 to Bad Skid. So far we've been trading out. No team able to edge apart. Kobler with his very distinctive pull. And this time keeps it in field but goes too deep. When I first played against Bad Skid in 2012 at ECF, that was basically the way they won every game. They were able to get their pull dead in the back of the end zone and they were able to play some ferocious defense to get easy breaks. And that's one of my biggest tips for teams is just get the pull in and as deep as possible. Don't try to do something too fancy. You'll just huck it out the side of the pitch and give the other team a short field or a brick. Now Bad Skid playing their own version of a zone against this fiery French offense.
Yes, French swinging it comfortably. And we see it's a 4-person zone. The black shirts gathering around the disc. Bonneau sending the deep disc shot. Oh, brilliantly read by the Frenchman in the Austrian shirt. Dishes it nicely. It was a great read. Went up earlier than the Bad Skid player, even though the Bad Skid player definitely had position there. Dishing the disc around his back, trying to distract one of the Buttermuller brothers there, I think Samuel, to see if he can get some space in there. Inside. Just a little touch. Fazenby goes, but it was the touch of the outstretched 42 shirt of Christophe Kobler. The Ironside team couldn't pronounce his second name. They refer to him as the cable guy. And he just managed to get enough touch on that to get the disc back for Bad Skid. This could be the first break of the game. Big shot up. It's going to be chased down by... Oh, the disc is getting caught in this wind. No problem at all. That one lifted the edge up, tipped it towards the stands, and both players helpless to watch it drift to the ground. The wind, if you haven't worked it out already, is blowing onto our backs as we sit here next to the camera and across towards the stands. But it's swirling on the far side of the pitch because of the stands and making decision-making tricky and contact being made. Steve Bonneau, number 17 shirt, who's making sure that things are under control. Blady disc across the pitch, exposing the space and allowing another quick reset. The Bad Skid team trying to stop everything, trying to stop the dump, trying to stop the around. There's not very much forward. They're leaving big gaps in the cup forward. It's the dump they're really trying to prevent here, and the swing. Very active, dynamic cup here, but it's a tricky disc made to look very, very easy. Steve Bonneau in acres of space and now exposing the space further down pitch. The Bad Skid team scramble to recover position, and they just about established it, and now they're setting into a one-on-one defense again. Fazembe looking for the big shot into the end zone, but he can't take it. Bad Skid containing everything that French have got at the moment. And a timeout called by the French. Wise move. It was a hot defense from Bad Skid. They need to compose themselves and work out a way they can get round that defense.
Bad Skid here with their typical clapping timeout chant. It's playing some incredibly close marking on their man defense. after transitioning out of the zone, really forcing the French offense to work hard and hit the open shots. But it's kind of playing into the French hands, though. They're very good at using their handlers and attacking through once they've once they're past the zone. And here's a windmill tradition. If you've got a disc, you want to chuck it at Herbie and get it in. I don't know what you win, but everyone wants to try and get it in the bucket. There we go. Go on in. Oh, no. Many misses and no wins. But now all the volunteers have to go pick up all the discs. Top Stars bemused. But that's a yearly event during a timeout at the Open Final. Yeah, we've got a drone in the top of the pitch here, to the left. There we go, just above our tower. Maybe we'll see some of that footage after the tournament. There it is. But yes, sorry, as I was talking about, Bad Skids zone was doing a good job, but I think it kind of plays into the hands of the French offense. They love the short little disc, and once they've broken through, they'll look for those break side gainers and even potentially hucks. But they've now gone for a split stack offense with Fazul on the left hand side here, and there's been a violation. They've got 2 on the left here, 3 on the far side, 1 reset. And there'll be I imagine there'll be some sort of isolation to get the disc moving. And there, it's those 2 on the left. One was a fake, and yes, Fazul comes under.
Faz looking, and it's a foot block from the 69 shirt. We think is Maximilian Liebersberg. He's not on the roster, but there's a 1 player on here without a number, so we think that's Maximilian. Christopher Kurbler. Nice disc down the line. Finds the 44 shirt. Florian Thiel. Samuel. To Kurbler. Sends the disc high, floating. It's going to be lots of space in the back of that end zone. Picked out easily is the 52 shirt of Kevin Shands. And so much space and distance that Shands had created between himself and his defender. I wonder if there's a mix-up there and some confusion. There's 3 Bootemullers on this pitch, so we're going to use their first names if the Bootemullers have got the disc. That's 18 is Samuel, 23 is Michael, and the player we'll probably see most of is 19, which is Holger Bootemuller.
Something else to mention about this Bad Skid team is they're a fairly young team in terms of age, not in terms of the club's history. And they attract a lot of young players, and in fact a couple of them have been fortunate to go to the US to the cut camps we see around the US to learn and to play Ultimate at a very competitive level with American kids. I think Jonathan Schall is one of those people that used what's called the Phyllis Award, which is an award set up by the German Federation in memory of a player who sadly passed away due to cancer, to fund juniors to go to camps and play Ultimate all over the world.
The Ultimate community coming together, as so often, to support former players and their families. Or just keeping that disc alive, the French. Number 4 grabbing it now. Nazem Bey just dishes it over the top. Little scuba. The knifey, bladey affair. Back again. The French quite confident even in this wind. Now Hammer's going to hang in the air, but there's not enough pressure from Bad Skid to force any sort of turnover. And if Bad Skid had been a bit more aware, there was a defender very close to that disc. Just the error in the last yard, not able to connect. The French. And a pick has been called. So the number 4 shirt of Florence Socrate French pronunciation of these names is probably going to be a little off. I apologise for that. Normally we try and go and work on our pronunciations before the games, but these games have been back-to-back, so we've not had a chance to do that. Neither of us have seen the French team beforehand. We'll endeavour to get as close as we can, but apologies if we are a little bit off. French looking with 3 handlers, 4 players further upfield under this Dutch sunshine on the AstroTurf here at the Windmill final. Bid from the bad skid player, absolutely huge, but it doesn't stop the disc arriving safely in the hands of Florent. As Jonas Schal and Naz Mbaye having a discussion about that call again. Disc is back in with the French. Mbaye making that look easy. Good cut. Great grab low. Had to keep it alive. Number 16 for France, active as ever. Manages to get it into the corner for his colleague, number 17 shirt of Steve Bonneau. And they bring it in. And get back to within 1 point of the Germans. They still trail 4-5.
Yeah, some ferocious defense there from Bad Skid, with the French taking on some very slim angles. Happy to just toss it up or go high release and attack those little spaces. A key player that we've already mentioned is Mbaye, and at that point Naz, who was on the field, is doing a great job of getting free, getting the disc, and then moving it immediately. Almost the hockey pass for the goal, I think, in that last point. So it's not only is he a weapon in the end zone, but also just keeping that disc moving and making sure the offense is smooth.
Well, myself and David covering the last of these 3 games for Sky Magazine this weekend out here in Amsterdam. The Windmill tournament making us feel very welcome. We've been treated as one of the volunteers, which doesn't sound much, but when you see how the volunteers at the Windmill are treated, it's actually a pretty big deal. We get access to the free food in the Paradise area, which is an area of the tournament central reserved just for the volunteers. They get treated very well, not too overworked, and get to enjoy a fantastic tournament experience as well. Nico Muller sends it deep straight away. Holger Buttemuller chasing it down. He's going to have time and pressure from the French as this disc has hovered way too long. Buttemuller with a huge grab off the top of the stack, dishes it to his brother. In they go. Bad Skid making it look so easy. Holger Buttemuller like an absolute tank, going up, taking clatterings from all the French players, still bringing it down. What a receiver, and Nico Muller's disc hung a little bit longer than he perhaps would have liked, but absolute pinpoint, and he knew exactly what his receiver was going to be doing.
Yeah, the Buttemuller brothers there playing off each other wonderfully. I didn't really think that was going to come off with 3 French players around Holger, but he's an absolute beast in the air. Brought it down and just calmly tossed it into the goal. Almost a bit risky, but he came off, so I'm not going to complain. 6-4 to Bad Skid.
Now, if you want to get in touch with us before the end of this final, we're live on Twitter and watching the hashtag Windmill 2016. Say hello to a few people who've sent us messages. Chris Lyde is watching the game on his roof with some scaffolding apparently. Sky Magazine, shout out to Warwick Ultimate. That's Willem Garnier. Noella is watching it. This is what life's all about, the ultimate life. I hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. Kat Tobiasovich Gale, loving the commentary. Watching the tennis on one screen and Windmill on the other in the sunshine, a perfect Sunday. And Connor O'Doherty, can we get a shout out for Sean Brophy and his buttery backhands? We certainly can. French struggling in the middle of their own end zone. High stall count, managed to get a reset. Swings nicely. That's got around the Bad Skid defense, and now the French are moving it swiftly up the pitch. Look, he's got his back to the disc, and he's a miscommunication between the French, and the frustration is obvious on the face of Steve Bonneau as he gesticulates to his colleague in the 80 shirt, Vincent Lepagnol. He's not happy with that turnover, which is entirely caused by the French miscommunication upfield. No German required to get that disc. Buttermuller again. Deep shots available. There must be a mismatch because there's a spare French player somewhere. But they managed to sort out the defense. The disc is back under control. They were working through that bad skid defense pretty effectively there, the French. See if they can repeat that now. Oh, huge layout. Great block, getting it back for the team. Is that the 17 shirt of Steve Bonneau again? He's not happy after the previous mistake. Miscommunication in the stack. The flow from the French put to a close. All for all of their own doing. Now they've got the disc back though. Through Bonneau and advancing. Moria and a big clattering together. 24 shirt of Roger. He clambers to his feet and a conversation with Samuel Buttermuller required to settle what happened. So the action replay there from Roger. In case you were wondering what happened, he hit him on the back of the leg while he was twisting around just like that.
Yeah, very typical frisbee replay done by the players. Some great bids coming in here though. Hope they don't injure each other, but there's yeah, some very good defense being played. Padskid had an opportunity there to take a break. The French fought back. I've got a few messages on Twitter. From Twitter, here we go. Kat Tobizovic Gale saying she's loving the commentary, watching the tennis on one screen and Windmill on the other. Perfect Sunday. And Warwick Bears, thanks to the great Windmill coverage. Tom Starr here by Sky Magazine. Let's CGB Mix win Worlds. Well, we'll see what happens when we get there, Warwick. Michael Rochette saying thanks for the streaming. It's good to watch Ultimate from the couch in sunny Paris.
Well, I hope the Paris are watching this one as the French near towards their own scoring line. Steve Bonneau with the disc right on the edge of the zone, looking for a quick shot in. He has got to go to dump back and reset. Big fake. Believable, but it was a fake nevertheless, and in it goes. A nice low release backhand underneath the outstretched arms of the bad skid receiver. Moria again. Run on Moria, getting himself available in the end zone with some quick feet. And France not letting bad skid escape here. They're within one still. Did you see the photograph of the entire Buttermuller family laid out on the couches up here? There we go. So Rafmes, at Rafmes, saying hello to the what looks like, you can see what must be the Buttermuller father in there. He looks a lot like Holger. So, thank you very much, Buttermuller family, for getting in touch. You're glad you're enjoying the coverage that Sky Magazine's bringing to you. Myself, Tom Stiles, and David Price in the commentary box. Hilko Bukma up in the tower, doing all the work with the camera, and the man with all the switches and controls and the wires down on the ground, Mike Palmer, flying in from Australia for this tournament and also going straight on to Worlds. Mike is one of the premier video producers of Live Ultimate, and we're very privileged to have him here. He was over in London for under-23s last year as part of the Sky crew, and he really is the ultimate professional when it comes to this stuff. He's a pretty handy player as well. The disc flies across the top. Bad skid with Nico Muller. Holger Buttermuller sprinting hard. It's going to be a repeat of the previous point again. French pressure, and this time just enough to have a sure. Mike is going to show you a replay of that. It looks like Buttermuller had a very loose fingertip grasp on that disc. It was another repeat, and Nazembai and Holger Buttermuller getting in each other's faces and being great pitches there. Mike, have you got a view on that? It's been declined.
Yeah, it's almost a repeat of the previous point, but like Tom says, didn't have much control, and I'm not sure if any contact actually caused him to drop it. Picking up the disc now is Jean-Sébastien, ex-5 London player, and Frizzelies looking for Naz, and Naz goes deep straight away. 2 of them under it, and great D by the bad skid player.
Yeah, Michael Butemuller at the other end of the pitch, reading that one beautifully, kept his eye, kept his position, didn't get fished in too deep. Always the risk when you're the defender on the inside of a disc that's coming back towards you is that the disc goes over the top of your head and the receiver can just peel off that extra yard, give themselves a bit more time for the disc to come down, but perfectly read by Butemuller. And fast cutting from Hardman now. Marcel Hartmann coming in. Holger Butemuller gets it out to Nico Muller. He's got the shots, but he's being blocked out. Hartmann down the line, available. Comes back into Volk. Volk swings across. It's going to be a little bit time in the air here, but brought down nicely by Matthäus Wieberutz. Wieberutz looking for Holger Butemuller. Manages to get a short, sharp disc across to him, despite the attentions of Frederic Barrard. And back to Butemuller again. This time Marcel Hartmann in the middle of the pitch. Fast, short passes from Bad Skid. They've brought their extensive long game under control. Butemuller going down the line, flicks ahead of him and catching his feet on the line, someone in the end zone. Hartmann continues his cut into the end zone. Beautiful work from the Bad Skid boys. Short passes, they must have made 15 or so. Short, quick passes, escaping the French attention from the defenders and extending their lead again to 7-5.
Yeah, a nice adjustment there by Bad Skid after the failed deep shot. Just to take all the French are giving them. Got a bit tight at times, but they were able to reset and keep the disc moving. And eventually a lovely assist by Holger Butemuller for a goal on that far sideline. Bad Skid still up. A break. 7-5.
A couple of people trying to help us with our German pronunciation. Butemuller, we're thinking. I'm not sure I'm going to change that easily, having said the name solidly all afternoon. Wherever you are in the world, hope you're enjoying the coverage we're able to bring you from the sunny Amsterdam AstroTurf. It's a very hot afternoon, sun glaring down on our camera tower and commentary position. The fans sheltered under the stadium, but the players getting absolutely no shelter at all on that hot turf as the French start up again. Germans coming with a one-on-one defense and managing to make a quick break. Tried to interception bid there. There must be a free player further down the pitch, and there is. But instead of going deep, he's come under. And it's not a one-on-one defense. It looked like it was for a second. It's now gone for a, or is it a one-on-one? Just quite poachy, switchy affair. And still waiting for anyone to give us the name of the 16 shirt. Hashtag Windmill 2016. If you know the French 16 shirt, he's not on our roster, but he's very involved in this game. We don't have him on.
We are being told to improve our French pronunciation, though. Mr. Rochette, we are trying. May not be our primary language, but we'll give it a go.
I'll give a go at French. It's the Polish and the Czech names I was struggling with yesterday. There's letters and symbols in there I've never seen before. Oh, I did spend 10 minutes with the Danes before their game. That was very useful. The French. Disc down the line. Pressure from Bad Skid's going to have to be there, but it wasn't. And Steve Bonneau again involved. And bringing that disc down for the French. And keeping this 1-point margin in check. Not letting the German Bad Skid team escape too far.
Yeah, again there we see the French attacking that very short angle space, not afraid to put it into the disc right in front of the thrower. Risky, but they're throwing some very sweet throws into that. into that very thin lane. And it's now 7-6. Bad skid up. Now with a chance to take half.
Mike Palmer, our producer, was trying to initiate the term Galaxy Point for a, if it's not here. No, it has to be 7-all, yeah. So if this is a French score, and Galaxy Point is when both teams are at 7 and a game to half at 8. Nico Muller looking for the long shot, finds Körbler. Back to Hartmann. Hartmann to Muller. Sweet discs from the team in black. Körbler again. He's had a great game so far. Holger Buttermuller looking down the line, and a foul in the end zone. Conversation between Michael Buttermuller, 26 shirt from France, who is also missing 28, is it? 28, we do have 28. That's Thomas Wirth. And a conversation between the player on the disc, Körbler, Christoph Körbler. He's been playing across in the USA with Ironside, and not understanding where Nico Muller was intending to go. Körbler sends it across the pitch. Nobody there on the other side of the field to grab it. It's a turnover, and the French have an opportunity to level this game up at 7 apiece. The team in black had appeared dominant in the early stages of the game, but the French could capitalise on mistakes that they've made if they can put this one in. And Buttermuller clattering the French Edwin Grappin. So I keep reading the numbers wrong over there. That's not Edwin Grappin. It's Thomas Wirth. And sends that disc all the way back. French players being forced back to their own line. That's Edwin Grappin now. Grappin. And a pick's being called in the middle of the stack. So Edwin Grappin with the disc, a number 18 shirt. Slightly odd font that the French have used for their shirt numbers makes it a tiny bit difficult to read the 8s. They've got a tiny bit on the top. Anyway, only commentators care about numbers on the backs of shirts. No one else cares. Thomas Wirth again. Disc across the other far side of the pitch. Safely collected by Francois Zubi. And on the floor, picking himself up, is Alban Vilasece. Not even close. Not sure if there's been contact with the feet there, but the boots come off. Points slow to get going. The AstroTurf is a hot place to be this afternoon, under some gorgeous Amsterdam sunshine. You see the planes taking off from Schiphol Airport overhead. We're not far from the outskirts of the Amsterdam, on the west side of the city, between Amsterdam and Haarlem. Back in, Körbler marking, hands low. Grappin finds Zubier. Zubier looking back to Grappin again. Doesn't manage to find him. Just boosts it over the top. And around the side. Outstretched hand required from Alban Vilasecka. Grappin again. Involved a lot in this point. Disc goes beyond and into the safe hands of Gabriel. Long disc. Oh, almost got a grab round there. The French on the edge of the zone, but not able to connect with that one. Francois Zubier.
Yeah, it's been very hard for the French to move the disc on using their D-line here. Grappin kept having to go back and reset back past the gain line, and that meant that the stack had to readjust and come under, and they weren't doing that quick enough to be able to keep the disc moving. So Bad Skid now are able to get this disc back in and potentially hold on to their break to take the half, and they've called a timeout. It's probably a good shout after a long bit of defense, so they can get their breath back, get some water on, and try and get this goal in for half.
Yeah, critical point this is turning out to be, a long point. It's the Germans, Bad Skid, trying to put the disc in to take it to Julien Hervé. Julien Hervé is number 16. Thank you, Robin, for that. And someone reeling the French flag across the and the fans having a stretch again, the Windmill tradition to get the fans up off their feet and get them have a stretch. Make sure no one gets deep veins thrombosis while they're sitting in the stands all afternoon. Probably a little bit of beer and a few chips with extra mayonnaise flowing around the stands. And the French contingent over to our left on the far side of the pitch in full voice. The Windmill caravan in the middle. Bicycle Mark is a long-time contributor to this tournament and to Ultimate Media over the world. Is emceeing the stands on the far side. The Windmill tournament is a very special event. If you're ever able to come, I do suggest you take the opportunity to do so. Not that it's an easy tournament to get into. They have 80 teams here this weekend, 40 in the mixed division, 16 in the women's division, and 24 in the open, which is the final we're watching now. But they also have a huge waiting list of teams, especially the mixed division had nearly 40 teams on the waiting list, so almost as many teams didn't make it and applied as did. Sky covering the final here. A lot of teams using this as preparation for Worlds in London in 2 weeks' time. Hartman now. High over the hands. Bad Skid not able to bring that down. Turns and comes underneath, but he's not able to keep it alive. The French have got a turn, trying to take it to Galaxy Point. It's a big disc, but Holger Wuttermuller has read that perfectly and brings it down. And straight away, uncharacteristic error from the big German. He's thrown it straight over thrown it straight over everyone and straight into the nearly into our camera tower over here. And that's an error that we've not really seen from Wuttermuller. He's usually pretty clinical. French with an opportunity, another opportunity in this point. The timeout hasn't worked in the Germans' favour. Blady over the top. What a great disc that is from the... Oh, it's come back. Edwin Grappin. Not able to connect despite what looked like a tasty disc. And the discussion is about where the players are going to reset. Where they were when that was called. Was it a pick? Something in there was called. Myself and David both concentrating on the disc. Pressure from Kobler is incredible, and just outstretched hand of Zubier not able to keep that disc alive. The French turn over and the Germans have it again. Bad Skid trying to move the disc now. Kobler again. Kobler looking up the line to Wuttermuller. Nice to Nico Muller. Nico Muller looking to shoot into the end zone. Manages to squeeze it around the outside. Kind of lean out. No inside-out spin on that. Just a straight arrow disc into the middle of his receiver in the center of the pitch. Great point for Bad Skid.
Yeah, that was a very long point. French stepping up their D a bit. And a few little mistakes creeping into the Bad Skid game. But unfortunately, the French not able to take the opportunity. I thought that was a nice little knife by Grappin. However, there was a call. And we got it back to bad skid. So they've taken half, 8-6, only one break in the game so far. I think we've got a few shout-outs for Twitter whilst we're waiting for the half to go. So Swampy, @Swampy, saying he's loving the excellent coverage of Windmill from my sofa, late night in Sydney. Thanks to Hilco and Tom and Windmill in general. We've had the Julien Herve, who's number 16, aka Jules. Kaman Lanathan, or Kalu, is saying we're going to struggle with the Indian names of Worlds. I imagine that's entirely true. And I'm not saying that, Yorktown Ultimate. Good try. I've been more practiced at people tricking me into saying things than you might think. Someone from Huntsville Method saying they're watching the Windmill tournament. One thing is true, English commentators just sound better. Well, we'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Swampy, aka Michael Cummings, is one of the original founders of this Windmill tournament, based in Amsterdam for a long time. Now back in Australia, which is home country. But an Aberdeen Ultimate, big shout out to you guys as well. Thanks for the tweet. If you want to do us a favour, take the link that you're watching this on now. It's half time in this open final. And hit the share button. Share it onto your Twitter or onto your social media stream. That way anyone else can pick it up and watch it. Quite often you get a tweet that says, I'm watching Live Ultimate now. It doesn't include the link. And therefore nobody else can really take part. So we want to be able to share the link as much as we can. Just send a tweet, watching Live Ultimate from Windmill. Include the link. And we would love to get the streaming numbers up as high as we can. I'm not sure how many people are watching at the moment. I can check that. Yeah, so we're over the 1,000 mark, which is great. So 1,182 people are currently watching this final. If you're one of them, do help spread the word about Live Ultimate. Myself and David are part of the commentary crew for Worlds in London, which we're both very excited about. Opportunity to commentate alongside legends of the game such as Evan Lepler. So I've been a fanboy of Evan's for a while. And he's on a plane in a couple of weeks to join us in London. And there's an awful lot of people involved in the production of that crew. WFDF really pulling out all the stops to make sure the coverage of the premier event in the calendar for Ultimate is very well organised and well streamed, accessible to as many people as possible. We've got Mike Palmer, who's our technical wizard, production director down underneath the camera tower where we're sitting at the moment. And he's going to be in London running one of the outside broadcast units. We've got some extremely good equipment. And we've also got people looking at the story side of the game, documentary makers. Hilko Bukma up in our camera tower. He's going to be making some documentaries about some of the teams.
We're getting a bit of banter on Twitter about our French pronunciation. One of them that we're being questioned on is the one on the top of our list, so number 2. I would say this is Francois Zubier. I might be wrong. Oh God, now someone is actually talking to me in French on Twitter. This is great. Oh no, he shared. Oh, so Michael Rochette has actually shared the link, just like he told him to. But he's been giving us a lot of banter. Dan Evans, yes, thanks for saying we're nailing the French names, even though you got a D in your GCSE French. We're going to keep trying, as always. Feel free to give us some tips. Worlds is going to be great fun with pronunciations, as always. I particularly enjoy the Japanese and the Eastern European teams for great names, and learning how to say them properly is what we're here for.
Yeah, the Japanese names are usually pretty good because when they write them down in English, they write them down completely phonetically. So although they tend to be big and quite convoluted, you can just read them out. And I'll hopefully be picking up a couple of those commentary games when we're in London. I'm a huge fan, in case you don't know already, of watching the Japanese women play. I think they have some of the most exciting Ultimate to watch that's going. They have a completely different style to anything else. And when you see a top Japanese women's team come against a top American or Canadian or even Great Britain women's team come against each other, the difference in styles just makes it so obvious that there's very, very different ways of playing this game. One of the most exciting things about Ultimate is the variety of different styles you can see. Tactically, athletically, you see very different style of play, very different type of player. You quite often find some of the big American girls towering a good 7 or 8 inches above their Japanese counterparts, and yet still the game is very, very close. So the Open final here at Amsterdam, the Windmill tournament, is between Bad Skid in the black and the French team, the French national team, are using this for preparation. And a pulling competition is taking place down here. Hilko is going to try and get the camera focused down on that. This is part of the part-time, half-time ritual. So this is the ladies pulling competition. And she has sent that. Oh, it's not a big pull. There is a little bit of wind here, but she getting a second shout at this? You get 2 goes, do you? She goes inside out. That's better. That's going to fly. That's not bad at all. Is it going to make it to the end zone? Yeah, that's a good one. So the 2 of them are marking this. And now she's doing the worm. Yeah, so she needed that second shot because the first one wasn't the strongest. And now we're going to see another contestant in this pulling competition. It's coming a little bit further across the pitch. I'm assuming that the rules are you have to have the pull in. But there's no hurry for these French and German players to get back on the pitch. Everyone's quite entertained by the halftime entertainment. That is a wicked throw. Back, back, back. Is it going to land in? Oh, that is deep and tasty. It lands in. Doesn't roll out the back. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. That's the current victor in the women's category. And a signal has been made to say she was offside. And she's coming again with another great disc. This time, lovely controlled curve against the wind. Not quite as deep, but and she's having a third go? No, she's not having a third go, is she? Yes, she's having a third go. And photographers are lying prone on the floor, covering this spectacle of the Windmill tournament. It's one of the things that makes the tournament a little bit special for all the players. That one's drifted out of bounds. So, strong performance. And there's 5 gents, 5 guys at the back of the end zone looking to take part. So one of the Swiss players coming to hit this. And the wind has stepped up, but she's managed to put down a pretty good disc there. Lands on the end zone line. Not quite as far as she would have liked, but she's going to have a second shot at this. And the half-time is extended. The Windmill, a pretty special event. And that's a better disc. It's going to carry. It's going to carry towards the back end. That's not bad at all. And David was talking about the importance of a good pull. This is a useful practice, David?
Yes, and you'll see these girls are doing a great job. There's a bit of history behind some of the men who are stacked up behind. Luca from Free Speed is known for taking part in this competition quite a few times in Windmill history, so we'll see what he can pull out as well.
Yeah, that's the effort from the Swiss contingent. So 80 teams have gathered here in Amsterdam this weekend and have enjoyed some gorgeous weather. Friday was a little bit chilly and overcast until the evening, but it was completely still and almost perfect conditions for Ultimate.
Some of the players are saying it's a bit heavy, and now the that's going to drift towards the back. Almost lands on the back line. Is it about distance or is it about quality of pull?
Yeah, they can pull out the back, I think, still. And actually, I believe Luca has pulled it almost to the back fence in the past. But we'll see what else these guys can give out. Oh, that might be going a bit too... No, that's come out perfectly.
Yeah, over the back line. That's a good disc. That's even the top players struggling to put these ultimate discs beyond the back of the pitch. The wind isn't ideal for this competition today, and that one's going to go into the stand and be caught by a grateful recipient as the beer and mayonnaise coated chips are being consumed by the Windmill crowd. And our next competitor.
Oh, I don't know who this is, but we'd expect normally to see Davide out here, but can't see him in the lineup.
I think there was a qualifying competition that was held on the Saturday night for this event. That one's gone out of bounds. You have to get it in, but you can have it out of the back. Okay, I see. And in this crosswind, that's quite a tricky task. This is their third and final attempt. Not bad. It's floating, it's flying, it's gliding, but it's down inside the end zone and won't be the distance record. And the French and German players from Bad Skid have disappeared behind the camera tower. Last go for this chap. He's launched it. Has he got enough touch on it to keep it from rolling outside? Oh, it's out. And that won't count at all. Okay, 3 more competitors in the men's competition. The Danish, look at this guy's jacked. He's got big arms. Look at the technique here. So he's going to run up and hit the outside edge of the disc as low as he can. And he's gone for a real arrow, very high speed disc, but not enough carry on that one. It's come down too soon. And is probably looking for a bit more roll, a little bit more height. Crosswind here is pushing from the camera tower towards the stands. And here he goes again. Oh, that's a bit more like it. Has he going to roll too far? He's going to roll against the wind. Is it going to disappear out the side of the pitch? It has, yeah. So if he can find a balance between his first disc and his second, he may be onto something. But otherwise, he's just struggling with his hand a little bit maybe here. Let's see what he can do. Fast run. Unloads all of that power into the disc. Not a great release. It's going to roll too far, I think. Yeah, it's too much of the power going into fighting the roll. As it disappeared off. And just 2 more contestants to go in the pulling competition. Windmill always bringing something a little bit different that you don't always see. And that's going to be a good disc. Rolling, not quite as far as the back line. So we have had 1 disc that's crossed the back line, and that's still the record so far. Here comes a big pull. Oh, that is racing down there. That looks perfectly balanced. It keeps going. It keeps going. It's flying high. It's going to carry. Oh, it didn't quite carry as far as the previous disc. Ran out of pace, but it was perfectly balanced in the air. No slide off to one side or the other. If he can repeat that with a little bit more spice, he might be able to do break the record here. He's leant into it. Oh, this might have the carry. Here it goes. Is it going to have the speed to carry over the back line? No, almost an identical disc from his previous effort. He's going to get that disc moved back. He's maybe made a yard there. And this is Luca. Where's Luca from, David?
He's from, I believe, from Free Speed Basel. He's been in this pull competition a number of years. As you can see, the crowd getting behind him. He's a very good player and a very good puller.
Oh, what an arm he's got on there. He's absolutely ripped that one. It's going to go way beyond. Oh, it's all over. And one shot and it's done. He's like the guillotine. Absolute shotgun of an effort. Lasered the disc down there. I think Holger Butemuller might be lining up to have a shot. Do you reckon? Here we go. And another try. Is he going to beat his previous effort? Here it goes. It's still flying. It's still flying. It's over the back of the previous disc. Oh, it's another huge disc and straight down the middle of the pitch. No threat to either side of the sideline. The French teams and the German teams reassembling. And they want to give him one more disc. And he's going to see if he can put it beyond. There you go. Has a look at the wind. It's got the driver out. As a career in disc golf beckons if the once the ultimate legs give up. Oh, the wind might have caught that one, pushing it towards the sideline. I don't think this one's going to count. Oh, just out. But still a Herculean effort. And he's won this competition with ease. And the halftime entertainment is over. So Bad Skid lead the French national side 8-6. And the Bad Skids team looking to warm themselves up after the halftime break by doing some skids.
Skids? You mean
sprints?
Oh no, just some jumps. Nice. This is probably got a bit cold in the half time there. And they're doing some fast feet. Getting ready to explode out into the second half.
Can you grab that for us? Can you grab that? Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, the afternoon sunshine still beating down across this Amsterdam sports park. 20 pitches and some spare pitches used for warm-ups as well in Amsterdam here. Almost the perfect venue for a big ultimate tournament. Some of the Astro pitches do have permanently fixed posts in the ground, which makes it a little bit of a hazard, but aside from that, they have all the facilities they need for a great party, a great atmosphere. The tournament village, where all the players get fed. All the food and camping is laid on for the players as part of the tournament fee. So you pretty much arrive, you pay for your own alcoholic drinks.
Got a few more questions coming through Twitter. Conor McHale, who I know from the UK, is saying that we mentioned Bad Skid have a quite young squad. Do I think this could give France the advantage towards the final few points? Actually, no. When I say they're young, it's just in their age, but it doesn't mean they haven't been playing for a while. And some of these boys have been playing for quite some years through their juniors, through their schools. As we already mentioned, the Phyllis Award and getting more young players playing. So I don't know. I don't think so. They're still seasoned ultimate players in their squad, but maybe we'll see what happens with the second half now. Just about to start. 8-6 to Bad Skid.
Yeah, so Bad Skid was started after a lot of the German junior squad were based in the same area, didn't have an obvious team to go to, and they didn't want them all to leave, so they started up their own team. That was 6 years ago, and they've since been champions of Germany. We see a different defensive look from the Germans, trying to break down the play up pitch, one chase, and a mixed bag of players behind the cup, but the French making quite easy route through that. The disc, and now it's gone to one-on-one. Moving the disc still. Nazem Bey just making himself available for the dump. Tries to go, and the pressure from the Bad Skid almost resulted in a turnover, but Steve Bonneau, as he has done so many occasions so far, manages to keep that disc alive, and a pick has been called. Bonneau's had an absolutely storming game so far. The disc is tapped in. Moria Around the top, Nazem Bey reaches up, grabs it, brings it down. Backhand just in front of the end zone, just pops it up. Not able to milk it all the way into the end zone, and another pick has been called. There's a lot of freedom in the end zone if you hadn't called that pick for the advancing French player. And the two players having a quick conversation about how far behind the German 57 Charles was. But everyone wants to get on with the game. And the players slap hands and endeavour to get this thing moving again. Taps in. Trying to look for a way through, and does find a way through. And Bono has got clattered in the process. The bad skid player coming forward to get the D. Just caught Bono on the knee. That could be quite sore.
And in the celebration, the French players went to take out the pad on the rugby upright. Didn't quite come off as he wanted. The pad came off with him. That's quite fun to watch. Hope you caught that on the stream. Yeah, France pushing that one through. Wasn't easy. Now within one at 8-7. And still a breakdown.
So Goldfinger's ultimate are watching. And Sasha T is also watching. Twitter's the best place to get hold of it, easiest place to get hold of us. Kat Tobizovic-Gale just watching. And thanks to Hilko Bukma for zooming in on the stand so she can see that her husband has put a jumper on. It's nice to know that caring marital relationship in the Tobizovic-Gale household is all working smoothly. Luke Tobizovic was the tournament director under 23s last year, now competing as part of the Polish mixed side, and will be competing in Worlds. They had a good run here, managed to get to the semi-final, and disc straight away, too high, over the top of the bad skid players, and a miscommunication between two French players. The receiver not able to connect to that. Clément Gillot. So disc goes back to bad skid, and again a second opportunity, a little bit more clinical this time, and the hand has been stood on Holger Buttermuller's hand. It's been stepped on by Frederick Bredard, a tall player with the leggings and the beard. Vollmer down the line to Hartmann. Hartmann to Buttermuller. Nico Muller. Hartmann cutting, swings back to Holger. Holger looking for an option, finds Nico. Nico, what's he got? He's got over the top, blasted across the end zone, manages to find an open and very exposed bad skid player. The only choice that Nico Muller had to make there really was how to get the disc there, but he did, and they extend their lead again, 9-7.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange start to the point with the very quick turnover, one apiece. But once they got going, bad skid, fairly unstoppable. Looks and feels a little flat out there. Both teams like coming out cold out of the half after having watched the pulling competition. A few people leaving the stadium early, probably to catch some flights home, but still many people watching here live in Amsterdam. You'll also see many photographers around the pitches, including two show game photographers, Claire Baker and Serena Dinahalik, who will be, well, one of them particularly will be at WGC, along with many other people supporting the tournament, taking photographs, doing the daily newsletter and social media. So reach out to the show game for Worlds if you want to get news and stories on the ground, as well as watching the stream through Woofduff. France now on offense here at the Windmill final in the Open Division 2016.
Well, the French trying to find a way through this bad skid defense. So one-on-one defense, looking for the deep shot straight away, but manages to find his player, but the player was asked a lot by that disc. The 77 shirt of Eric Becker had to go low, went to the ground. There's a turnover to Bad Skid again. Opportunity to take a 3-point margin in this game for the first time here. Germans dodging around, low to the ground. Körbler. Oh, that's a sweet disc from Körbler. Jams it in low. Samuel Buttermuller darting around, loses his mark. And Körbler with the low disc that rises high and is taken. Pure a beautiful score. They extend their lead, 10-7.
Yeah, very nice break there from Bad Skid. A lot of pressure being applied around the disc and upfield by the Bad Skid defense, and France not quite able to squash it. Had to try and squeeze it in into a tight angle that they just couldn't quite get hold of. Now down 2 breaks, it's 10-7 to Bad Skid.
The French are pumped up by this one on the sideline here, needing to rescue 3 points now to get back into this. The German team in their black and green shirts. Bad Skid. Bad Skid were part of, some of the players from Bad Skid were part of a German side that attended Europeans back in Slovenia in 2011. And they wanted to send a message back to the juniors, so they started a TV show called Blockstapel TV, which was a Mickey take. But it was a good fun Mickey take. Great guys. Oh, and a little bit of contact on the French legs stops that bid being made. Turnover. And Körbler with the disc for Bad Skid. Have the French made one too many errors this time? Fazembe not able to get to that one. Bad Skid with it. Körbler again making a great cut and having a real influence on these last couple of points. He's looking for a shot into the end zone. Some cuts coming now, but a reset is required. Swings it back around to his player. Charles back to Körbler, tries to milk it in, keeps it alive. He manages to keep everything going. Call on the play. So the latest departure from Schiphol Airport goes overhead. So the foul in the stack. Nazembe making his views heard. And Körbler sends the disc back to Charles. Coming back in now, the Germans floating it around to the open side, or the break side, and this time into safe hands. 44 shirt of Florian Thiel, bringing that one down and extending the lead. The Germans get all the momentum now. 11-7 they lead this one.
And the French take a timeout. They've really been pushed there with 2 breaks in a row by Bad Skid. There's not much more I can say than that, really. They're struggling to take on those tight options like we spoke about earlier in the game, which they're more used to. And whilst it is risky, those risks are not paying off in this second half. They came out at 8-6 down, and they've only scored 1 since the half.
last year at Europeans, the Bad Skid, some of the Bad Skid team, along with their other German colleagues, managed to get into the final with the Great Britain in the Open Division. So they're a very hotly, a lot of the players in there are part of that very hotly contested slots in the German side. And the French Open team beat the Irish, came third last time round at Europeans. They beat the Irish team to get this place in the final, and Ireland were responsible for the biggest scalp of the tournament, knocking out Great Britain in a sudden death match in the quarter-final. Great Britain just not showing the Irish enough respect, and Ireland having an absolutely fantastic game. It all came together. An opportunity to play against Great Britain, which always generates a passionate Irish line. An opportunity to put it all out there because it was a quarter-final. Everything mattered. It was the 1-8 quarter-final in bracketed play. Great Britain resting some of their key players during the first part of that game, allowing the Irish to get a big lead. I think they were 10-5 up at one point. Great Britain did play a very hot second half, but they did turn over on sudden death. Irish scored it to take it to 11-all. Great Britain coming out on 0, got turned and burned. Irish win, but they lost the game in the first half. I think some of those players from Great Britain, they play on Clapham, they won't have lost a game in a long time because they will be very successful domestically, very successful at international level at Europeans as well.
Well, actually, they had one of their first losses last season at EUCF, where they lost to Cusp and one of the Finnish teams at EUCF, which is one of their first losses on European soil for like 3 years. But France, deep in their end zone, get it to Nazu, who takes it deep. The shot is on, but he's going to have to bid. Oh, just unable to pull that one in. Now giving a chance for Batskid to get yet another break. These are the sort of options you just can't be taking, and they need to be taking much more 100% options. Batskid, we're really going to hope that they do take these options to secure this game.
Julien Herve chasing that one down. The wind has just picked up another notch, and I was quite surprised that this didn't hover longer. It had the right curve on it to stay in the air. Köbler picking up, and Köbler taking a really effective roll. He's jacked that one all the way down the pitch, though. Just as I was saying how effective he was, commentator's curse. He's no deep cuts from Badskid. Sun blazing down here on myself and David. We've got umbrellas to protect us, but I've got my big hat on. Köbler signalling. The French have set themselves up all on the far side of the pitch, trying to isolate a single player who's picked off nicely. Now there's lots of cuts going deep, and a big shot goes up. The Germans are underneath it, but the French have read that beautifully. Two of them taking each other out in the end zone, but they come down with a disc in the hand, and the number 99 shirt of Quentin Bonnard is pulled to his feet. That was an absolutely textbook play, exactly what the French intended. Nice stuff. I've not seen that from the French so far, David.
That's the first time we've seen that look from the French. An isolated cutter with the whole field to play with, gets it under, and actually he threw it straight over where the stack was. So that's not the sort of play I've really typically seen ever. Normally you would try and isolate them in the open side or wherever the other side of the stack, to the side stack, to then hit a deep shot or an undershot from the next continuation. But he threw it straight across over the stack and sat it beautifully rather over the two deep French players.
I'm a bit surprised the Germans hadn't realised that was the game plan and marked them deep a little bit better, because it was...
I don't know, we haven't really seen many deep shots from the French. I mean, the last few points we've seen a couple, but overall they prefer the short game and those little short, sharp angles to move the disc up, and then eventually they'll try and hit a power position. But we haven't really seen them hitting those power shots or hucks from within their own half in this game.
Disc launched from the French side of the pitch, bobbling in the wind, and straight away the French pressure arrives. Nico Muller. Back to Butemuller. Holger Butemuller. Marcel Hartmann bidding for that, but the French pressure pays off. The 13 shirt of Julien Gabriel realized the threat was there from Hartmann, peeled off his player, went low and got the turn. The French with an opportunity to bring it back within 2. Nazem Bey looking for the swing, looking for a disc across the top. Nico Muller bids hard, right on the edge, and there it is, straight in. Great work from Nazem Bey. That high stall count disc scuba across the pitch to Edwin Grappin. Outstretched German defender couldn't get a fingertip to it, and it's an easy score in the end. And they bring it back within 2. Bit of French momentum building here, David.
Yeah, it's a bit of a break out of jail there by Nas. Don't think that's quite what he wanted, but it worked out well for him. And yeah, the momentum definitely feels like it's going the French way. Can they pull it back and make this a real tasty affair?
Myself and David moaning about our sunburn up in here. It's the players, I've no doubt, feeling the heat, both from the game and the sunshine. It's been a gorgeous weekend here in Amsterdam, and we've enjoyed commentating and bringing you the coverage from the fields at the sport park. And again, we see the French clustering the players on the side of the pitch. It's a case of working out which one of these... the Germans have side-stacked it now. This working out who is going to be the prominent cutter. Köbler, not really a surprise. He's gone deep straight away, but he's not going to be hit. And already running high on the stall count, running out of options here. Manages to find... stall count. Nico Muller not able to... Not able to get that disc away quickly enough. And a timeout call from Pierre Lemeur. They're having a conversation about it now. But compared with the French side stack, which worked so effectively, hit the first shot and they sent it deep and brought it down straight away. The German equivalent, the first disc to Köbler wasn't available. And the reset struggled. Holger Butemuller appeared too late in the day. It's going to be a contested stall out by the looks of things. So it's going to come in. And Holger Butemuller. Köbler gets the disc back, goes to the ground for his trouble. And Butemuller's available. Comes underneath. Michael now. Across to Nico. Nico floats into the end zone. Christoph Köbler scores with ease. And the Bad Skid boys recover from a nervy start to that point.
Yeah, I think the reason that isolation didn't quite work out was that Köbler, he got himself in the lane, but he did a bit of dancing. Like he made a few steps in both directions, which didn't make it very clear to the thrower and to himself where he wanted it to go. If he'd have just gone out, waited, gone deep or under first, like really hard in one direction and hit the other direction, he'd have been more free and therefore able to get the disc, wherever the thrower might have wished to put it. And it then also meant that his continuation didn't really know where he was and what was happening, and so couldn't react well. And again, wasting more time on the stall, which then obviously put them in pressure. But once they got moving, after the contested stall out, they were very, very happy to do exactly that, to push their men deep and then come under and get a gain, or hit the break side and get those lovely little continuations down the break side, which is exactly how they scored. So well played once you sorted out the messy start for staying up 12-9 for Bad Skid.
And this disc is going to drift towards the back. What a great pull that is. All the pressure straight away. A Mack and a Callahan. Are we calling a strip on that? Are we calling a foul on that? What a great pull though. All the pressure applied from that first disc. deep in their own end zone. The Bad Skid guys having plenty of time to run down there. And no, it was a strip. He's a 17 shirt of Steve Bonneau. And he's trying to gain some yards straight away, pinging it back up the field. Beautiful disc from Bonneau, straight to the hands of the 89 shirt, who's now spreading the play and looking for France to establish themselves further upfield. They wait for the stall count to get high. German player knew nothing about that disc because it clattered into the back of his head. It's a turnover to the Germans. Bad Skid again, a team in black advancing with a chance to take this out to a 4-point lead, and I cannot see the French coming back from that. A pink has been called in the middle of the stack. The French story of this French side's game, I'm afraid, is they've had position. They've just not been able to complete those final crucial passes. And Bad Skid, when they've been put under similar pressure, have reacted better. Spreads the play. Just as I was saying that, they've reacted better. They've turned the disc back over again. French with it one more time. Oh, Steve Bonneau in the corner by the cone. Just sees the opportunity, cuts away from his player, and makes that score. Bringing it back within 2. They still trail the Germans 12-10.
There's a nice little huck there from the French deep in their end zone after the almost Callahan. You can definitely feel the momentum changing, and almost in a point there, it was like suddenly the French had it, we thought they'd score, then it came back and the Germans got that D. But let's see who will take this next point. I think it could be some very important points in the next few to see who will be crowned Windmill champion 2016 in the open division.
I think Steve Bonneau involved at both ends of that, with that big disc down the pitch to rescue the situation from deep in their own end zone. That's what created the yards in the first place, and he was the eventual receiver. Could have a few more quality plays like that from his teammates, and the game would look very different, but he's carrying the side on his own at the moment. Well, certainly being a big contributor towards their efforts against the German team, Bad Skid. Last chance if you want to get your tweets read out. Hashtag Windmill 2016. Nico Muller in the middle of the pitch for Bad Skid. Holger Butemuller cutting around into the far side of the pitch. That's a great cut from Holger. Looking for his brother coming underneath now. Michael Butemuller is not available. Has to go back to Nico Muller. Cross to Volk. Volk is going to find Holger again, available, unmarkable at the moment. He's getting the attention of Frederic Bredard, but it's hard work for Frederic. He's not able to keep up with a powerful German athlete. Down the line, a little bit late from Holger, but he spots it just in time. Nico Muller with the disc on the sideline, looking to put this one in. Back around, Hartmann. Holger still available, just cutting and cutting and cutting. He's got so much power and energy. Nico Muller making himself some more space. Hartmann, just the 3 of them involved so far. Hartmann goes to ground to make absolutely sure of that grab. Into the end zone, he does it. Beautifully worked into the safe hands of Lennart Vollmer. And the team from Germany, Bad Skid, putting themselves in a situation where they're just 2 points away from taking this Windmill Championships and proving themselves the quality side out here on the open final today.
Yeah, Bad Skid did very well there, moving the disc forwards and side to side. They were taking advantage of the break side very well. I would argue that Holger was hanging around a little bit too.
They're trying once more with their own deep shot. It's going to be floating. There's going to be pressure underneath this. Samuel Butemuller reading that disc brilliantly, getting up early and preventing the French from getting a grab.
The French there initially set up with their side stack.
The wind catching that. Benjamin Britsch was the intended receiver, but just as it came down towards him, the wind just lifted it over him and the French defender. Neither of player expecting it. And it's a turnover. The French starting on their own end zone line with the familiar figure in the 17 shirt of Steve Bonneau. Bonneau. He's really jammed in the corner there. Harvey. Oh, and the disc from Harvey back to Bonneau was poor. Asked too much of the 17 shirts into turnover. Körbler eyes this one, looking for the shot into the end zone to take them within one of victory here at Windmill. Low disc, but it's effective. Resets the play into a safe area of the pitch. Samuel Butemuller back to Körbler again. Körbler looking to shoot down the line here. Really effective, uncontested foul from Bonneau. And great to see the players using the hand signals there. It makes it very easy for us to commentate on exactly what's happening. Körbler looking for an option here. Manages to finally break out, and this time it's the 18 shirt of Samuel Butemuller. Körbler makes the cut right across the pitch and fetches it from the other side. The stack downfield, pretty static, not giving him very many options. A rolly, strange sort of draft near the stands, but here it's just a straight side wind across the pitch on our backs as you look at the pitch. French exploring this wing, looking for a shot down the line, which is very effectively taken. Nice set to the middle, and the Bad Skid boys go back to the man defense. Fazembe on the far side of the pitch, looking for an option, anything in fact. Manages to get reset to Bonneau again. He really has had played a pivotal role in this French side. Available when he's been needed. But aggressive, but spirited at the same time is what we want to see from our ultimate players. Fazembe finding himself in a lot of space in the middle of the pitch, just short of the end zone, trying to put it in for the French now. Harvey trying to milk it in. Does milk it in. Beautiful work. Footwork was exemplary there. You find a completely unrelated tweet that generally involves a picture of a windmill of some type. Do they not know it's our hashtag? I would like to say thanks to anyone who's managed to get in touch with us or sent us a tweet or spread the word about the coverage here. And look forward to being able to talk to you all again. 2 weeks' time we'll be part of the WFDF. In fact, all the people involved in the Sky coverage this weekend are off to London as part of the WFDF video project, bringing some of the finest ultimate and the best coverage we can to you. Nico Muller sends a great disc deep. Holger Butemuller trying to bring this disc down. Pressure, time, feet. Who's going to be right about this? It was he had to grab it second time round, but no confusion about Holger from Holger there. His feet were out. He's quite prepared to admit it. He had to take it the second time round, and straight away a big cut has been called back. The French 20 shirt. Johan Mijote going deep, and this is going to be chased down. There's going to be a lot of time and air underneath this. Second time chance, no. But just enough touch on that from the German to make sure that it was a turnover. So playing a bit of long disc frisbee at the moment. Both teams taking big shots, and we're seeing the massed ranks of the Windmill volunteers underneath the stands in the centre of the pitch. They've obviously all finished their jobs for this afternoon and are ready to receive the applause and thanks from from all the players for making this tournament run so smoothly. Holger Butemuller for Germany now. Passes out to his brother Michael. Michael across to Marcel Hartmann. Hartmann has got Vollmer on this wing. Finds Vollmer. Places it nicely into the path of Nico Muller. And on to Volk. Volk back to Weberus. Weberus has to reset and does so to Butemuller, and a timeout called. And that was probably the right move there. They've been chased around the pitch by the French. Okay. So while David climbs down our rather wobbly scaffolding tower to go and sort out his sun lotion. I think we're burning up quite badly up here. I've got the factor 30 on myself. This game has turned into a very close affair. The French keeping the German team at bay, not letting them extend their lead too much, not letting them score too freely. We've seen bursts from the French that have been really impressive. Individual players showing an awful lot of skill, but it hasn't quite looked as connected as the Bad Skid team have done. The combination of Nico Muller and the Buttermuller brothers, Samuel, Michael and Holger, along with Hartmann and Volk, have looked very impressive indeed. And on D, it's been a real team effort to try and bring that disc back every time the French have got hold of it. As we go into the end of this game, 2 points required to take the win for Bad Skid, and 4 points required from the French national team, using this as their final training tournament before Worlds begins in London. The World Championships will see the French team there, along with many others. The Premier tournament. There's 5 divisions in London. Open, Women's, Masters. Opens, Women's and Mixed, and then Open Masters and Women's Masters as well. It's a big competition, and more teams I think in one tournament than certainly I've seen in a long time. I think there's 120 teams going to be there, full-size international teams. It's usually 25 or so players for most of those teams. They'll be assembling at the UCL Sports Ground in London 2 weeks' time. Holger Buttermuller, high stall count, trying to find a way out of this one. He does so. Fast cutting Michael, and on to Nico Muller, back to Holger. Holger really the anchor of this Bad Skid team. A hard reach from Marcel Hartmann, but he has to go to ground, and it's still not enough. The French have turned over that disc from Holger a little bit beyond the receiver. And despite the AstroTurf rash that no doubt Hartmann will be nursing in the morning, he didn't get the disc. French looking at another high stall count themselves, trying to find a way through this, and just trapped on that inside line. Managed to reset now, looking for a bit more flow. The wind's picking up again, and that disc bobbles around. Nazem Bey manages to grab onto it, sends a big disc. It's going to be floating high. The wind is going to carry it. The French are going to be underneath it. Oh, what a take, what a grab, and what a disc from Nazem Bey. He's put a sidearm 60 meters down the pitch, and the Frenchman has read it perfectly and taken it at its highest point and scored a point to bring it back within 13-12.
For anyone else, that's a hospital pass, but for Nazem Bey and the French national team, they come down with a grab. And what a few points the French have had. The momentum definitely on their side right now. Can they take it to 13-all? Can it go to universe point here in the Windmill final Open Division?
Yeah, we were just talking about in that timeout, the French needing a few more moments of brilliance across the team, and the Bad Skid making an error in the players I just mentioned about how solid they'd been. And cursed them once more. I should just not say anything. It won't be very interesting then. Very difficult to commentate by not saying anything. And the windmill breeze will be blowing round the blades today. It's AstroTurf is heated up, and the breeze has kept the fans under the stands cool. Some of them wrapping up a little bit as well, actually. They're putting on jumpers out of the sun. The breeze has got quite a cooling effect. The Windmill party festival atmosphere continues, but not for these two teams. They're very much got some business to attend to. And the disc has come down. And is it going to be bricked, or is it just going to be walked to the front? Now Nico Muller. So it's landed in, rolled out. So it's just been brought to the front by Nico Muller. Straight up force from Mbaye, looking to, and Nico Muller sends it out. Kurbler underneath this one. He's going to have to do some running to chase this one, but catches it safely. 2 hands. Nazem Bey trying to block that shot. Anything from Nico Muller, but there was nothing he could do to stop the around curve straight into the hands of Kurbler. And Bad Skid within 1 of taking the title.
just pure athleticism now and skill against each other. 2 hucks there, back to back. An Umbai brother involved in both. And it comes down to this final few moments of this game where the momentum has shifted from team to team throughout the whole game. Who will come down with this Windmill 2016 championship?
Yeah, the French talk with the French setup there looked like it was deliberately set up to avoid the deep shots, but there was nothing they could do about Nico Muller's disc. Big step out, huge rolling, curving backhand that covered the length of the pitch, held in the wind just long enough, and Körbler's foot speed closing in on that disc and catching it safely. In the end, impressive stuff. So our camera tag getting rocked by some of the French players taking a rest into the shade, but they've been warned off that now. Harvey again for the French, swinging it across, and just puts it between his legs, touches the turf. Bad Skid with an opportunity to take the title. A French error has crept in. Bad Skid, stack 5 in the end zone. Opportunity to make a quick score. Nico Muller cutting. Trying to get the reset out here. Manages to get a quick reset. Floats it deep. Making some backwards movement here. That disc just darting up into the sky a little bit too quickly. And to get 2 hands down. But quick footwork from the Germans. They score it nicely. And they've put this one away. 15-12 is the final score. Bad Skid, the Windmill champions. And they'll join their countrymen in London as part of the German national side. Many of the players from that team. The French national side have been beaten. And David, summarise the game for us, please.
Yeah, with a couple trading points earlier on in the game, it looked like it was going to be a tight one, and they definitely gave us one in the end. Even though Bad Skid took a hefty lead, particularly out of the middle of the game after the half time, the French came back at the end there, and an unfortunate error gave it back to Bad Skid for that final point. But all credit where it's due, Bad Skid had a very good game and deserved champions, especially after going so close a couple of years ago in the final, losing out in sudden death.
So I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone that's been involved in the production of this Sky broadcast with you for 3 days on YouTube. And so myself, Tom Stiles, and David Price have been doing the commentary today. The other day we had Ravi Vasudevan covering the colour commentary duties and doing a great job at it. On the camera almost all weekend has been Hilko Wukma, making sure you get all the best shots of the best action you've got, and pressing the buttons and making the magic happen underneath us is Mike Palmer. Elliot Trotter is the mastermind behind it all, and we've also had David doing some, I forgot his name, David Picon, who's been doing some documentary making as part of the tournament coverage for Sky. Windmill have put on a great show here, and we very much enjoy being part of that experience. We've been treated very nicely by the crew, and we very much appreciate that. And the volunteers are coming out now to accept the prize ceremony. So you'll speak to most of us, or hear from most of us again, if you're able to watch any of the live coverage from London. Until then, Tom Stiles and David Price signing you off and wishing you a very happy Sunday from the sunshine in Amsterdam.